Have you noticed how tomorrow has become the favorite word of people who never accomplish anything? It's always the same excuse. Tomorrow I'll start the diet. Tomorrow I'll fix my life. Tomorrow I'll study for that exam. Tomorrow I'll start investing. But tomorrow doesn't exist. When you wake up, it's already today. And what happens today? New excuses, new problems, new distractions. Have you realized how the system seems to be designed exactly for this? Because while you're stuck waiting for tomorrow, banks, governments, and the wealthy are taking advantage of today to get richer. And the saddest part, the cost of your delay doesn't show up immediately. It builds silently, corroding your future little by little. Tomorrow may look harmless, but it's a thief in disguise. It steals your discipline, your dreams, and most of all, your time, the most valuable resource you will never get back. Every time you say, "Tomorrow I'll start investing," you're giving a piece of your financial freedom to the banks. They don't wait for tomorrow. They make money work for them 24 hours a day. What looks like procrastination to you is profit for them. While you think about when you'll start, they are already multiplying the capital of millions who decided to act. And here is the first big controversy. The system wants you to believe you need to wait for the perfect moment. That is the biggest lie ever sold to the middle class. There is no perfect moment. There is no flawless scenario. What exists is discipline. What exists is the power of taking the first step now, even if it's small. But if you believe in the illusion of tomorrow, you stay trapped in the vicious cycle of waiting forever. And that's not an accident. That's design. That's how the system was built to keep you stuck. Let's talk about compound interest. They call it the eighth wonder of the world because it multiplies your money exponentially. But here's the detail nobody spells out clearly. Compound interest also works against you. Every credit card debt, every long-term loan is an army of interest that grows every day. In other words, if you're not using compound interest in your favor, you are inevitably its victim. So while you say, "Tomorrow I'll start," interest is already running against you today. It's like being in a race where you decide to stand still at the starting line. By the time you finally move, the distance to the finish line is almost impossible to catch up to. Here's a metaphor that should open your eyes. Think of money as a tree. If you plant today, at first you'll only see a fragile little sprout. But with time, it grows roots, becomes tall, provides shade, and bears fruit. Now imagine the person who decides to plant tomorrow. Meanwhile, the neighbor who planted yesterday is already sitting under the shade, enjoying the fruit. If you don't plant today, you won't have anything tomorrow. Your financial life works exactly the same way. Now let's look at real stories. We've all seen people who started small and years later achieved financial freedom. The classic example, the one who started investing just $20 a month when they were young. In 20 years, that amount, through compound interest, becomes a sum that seems unbelievable to those who never started. On the other hand, there are thousands of people who earn well but keep postponing. And what happens? They reach 50 or 60 with nothing, trapped in debt, working until their last day. That's the cost of "tomorrow I'll start." And don't think this is just mathematics. It's also psychology, because every time you postpone, you reinforce in your mind the habit of procrastination. And habits become identity. If you're someone who always says "tomorrow," your mind already sees you as someone who never acts. And as a result, you start to believe investing isn't for you, that financial freedom is for a select few, that wealth is only for those born rich. All because you let tomorrow fool you. Another common excuse is thinking you need a lot of money to start. That's the favorite lie of people who never move forward. When I have more, I'll start. But the truth is, nobody ever started with a lot. Those who have a lot today once started with a little. Whoever waits to accumulate before investing never accumulates. Because the same mindset that makes you spend today believing tomorrow will be better is the same one that will sabotage you in the future. Tomorrow will not magically turn into abundance if you don't change your habits today. And here's something few dare to say: tomorrow could be too late. Yes, too late. A crisis could strike, an emergency could wipe out your savings, an illness could change your plans. And then what? You realize you wasted all those years of opportunity waiting for tomorrow. Life is uncertain, but one thing is guaranteed: time does not return. Every day wasted is a day of potential growth you will never get back. Let me give you a shocking example. Imagine two people, both 25 years old. The first starts investing $40 a month for 10 years until they're 35 and then stops. The second decides to wait. They only start at 35 and invest the same $40 a month until they reach 65. Who do you think ends up with more money? Logic tells you the one who invested for 30 years should have more. But no. The one who started early ends up with much more because time worked in their favor. That's the power of compound interest. And it's also proof that every tomorrow costs you dearly. So don't fool yourself into thinking you're just delaying. You're losing money, you're giving up your freedom. You're choosing to remain a slave to a system that feeds off your delay. Because while you wait, the rich act. While you procrastinate, they advance. While you say tomorrow, they already started yesterday. Here's what I want you to reflect on. Tomorrow is a comfortable illusion. It makes you feel like you're in control, that you can postpone without consequences. But the truth is, every accumulated tomorrow is another brick in the wall that separates you from financial freedom. If you don't start breaking that wall today, you'll spend your whole life staring at the other side without ever crossing over. So I ask you, are you going to keep believing in tomorrow, or are you going to use today, this moment, to plant the seed of your freedom? Because the answer you give right now will determine whether you'll be another slave of the system or someone who flipped the game. And I'll end with a phrase that should echo in your mind every day. It is not tomorrow that changes your life, it's the decisions you make today. If this video resonated with you, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with that friend who always says, tomorrow I'll start. Because maybe today is the push they need to change their life.